Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Hey, don't touch that dial. We have a show here that's all about a show. Okay, it's Showtime in Norristown at the Cultural Center, and we're going to have we have two of the cast. We're going to interview and tell you something about it, tell something about their background, and also their part in the show. Now, the show is called
Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot. Okay, you don't pronounce the T.
You don't
okay?
pronounce the T. Nope.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you know the old story. You start off. There's no business like show business, you know. So, get ready. Show business in Norristown, and we'll tell you all about who, when, who, what, where, and when. Okay. So, in this corner, like we do in Madison Square Garden, wearing a dark shirt and with a little bit of a beard and glasses, Dave Freebird.
That's me.
Right, okay.
Nice to meet you.
And in this corner, we're not going to fight, though.
No.
Okay, is David Yatcham.
Yeah.
Right. I pronounce that right?
Yashin, yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? I'm not at Bellevue Stratford, you know. I mean, but that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, close enough.
All right, good. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about this show. We're going to talk about, you know, the whole bit. Now, tell me first, we'll start with you. Why do you want? Why'd you become an actor? How long you been an actor? Tell me something about yourself.
Well, I started acting right out of college about 1972. And then I went to the Hedgerow Theater, took classes there. That's down in media. And then I met the director of the show, John Doyle.
That's
the
our
director
school
of,
teacher here, the director
correct.
Of this show. He's
of this show. He's the director of the show of Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot.
And we met at graduate school at Villanova University about 20 years ago, and now I'm one of his cast members.
And you've been playing along different shows, or how
Yes. Well, I make my living as a puppeteer. I'm a puppeteer.
What's that?
I work with puppets, and I work with children.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm putting on children's shows daily. And so that's theatrical enough. And then I got interested in getting back into acting, and John Doyle and Randy Wise of the Iron Age Theater.
Voice with the puppets. You do the voice too?
I do all the voices, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, whatever they need, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay, now, how about you? Now, you're a graduate of Norristown High School, right?
That's right.
Tell me something about you.
Well, I started acting in Norristown, doing the plays here.
Oh, yeah?
And then I graduated, and I moved my way up towards Princeton, New Jersey, Lawrenceville. Studied acting
New Jersey.
at Rider University, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Right down the street from Princeton.
And you want to be an actor, right?
Hope to be.
What do you
yeah.
mean you hope to be?
It's
you say you want to be an actor.
It's
What do you mean
hard.
you hope to be?
There's millions of other people who want to be actors too.
Forget
All- yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
know, forget about him. You know, who was the first guy to cross the the Atlantic Ocean? Was Lindbergh. Who was the second guy? Who knows? Who cares? Right?
That's right.
Number one.
Yeah. Well,
And what, do you sing?
yeah, I sing.
Well, like sometimes a singer, an actor has to be a little singer. You bobs and weaves and
I consider myself more of an actor, but if the role
Dramatic part.
if the role needs to sing, I'll act like I can sing. And
Well, why you become an actor? Why that profession?
it's fun. It's probably one of the only professions you really get to play and recreate yourself over and over again. I don't know. Why does so many people want to do it? You know,
How do you remember your lines?
just read them over and over and over again. Say them in the shower. Say them while you're driving.
You put them right up front, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
While I'm on my
right.
phone on the iPod, looking at the lines. You know, driving at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay, now tell me something about this show, okay? Waiting for Godot. What is that? Now that
Well, the show is, the playwright's name is Samuel Beckett. It was written about 1953, 1954. It was originally in French and translated. He's an Irish playwright, but he wrote it in French, translated it over into English, and staged it, and it's been staged ever since. But the story is basically about, you know, what do people do while they wait, and what do they wait for? So there's a lot of comedy in it, in the
Oh,
terms
yeah?
of like there's teams. There's really two sets of teams. David is among a team of Patso, and he plays the part of Lucky. And I'm part of another duo, Vladimir and Estragon. And they're sort of in the reign of classic comedies like Burns and Allen and
okay.
Jackie Gleason and Art Carney. So it's very much teamwork in terms of the
Back and
comedy.
forth,
So
right?
yeah, and what do two people do while they wait? You know, and what are they waiting for? And why are they still waiting? And so all the
What are they
all the-
waiting for, right?
Well, they're waiting. The play is about waiting for this fellow named Godot, and we don't quite know much about him, but we're supposed to wait here. Our job is to wait for this fellow, and every day we come here to wait, and every day we hope he shows up.
Is that something like Judy Garland with was looking to the mountains and what do you call her? I forget when Judy Garland was looking to meet that man. What was that about? Remember?
That one I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know that one.
I can't. I'll think
I
of
got
it
it.
later.
It'll come
I'll think
later.
of it later. But she was wanting to see the
Right.
guy, and they never did get to see him. They got to see him, then he was a phony, something
Right.
like that. Okay. You remember that? You don't remember it?
No, but
Tell me
but-
about this then.
But Godot, you don't really know anything about. They've never met him. They just know they have to wait for him, and that's all they'll do. And a boy actually comes in the play. He's actually the fifth character. There's only 5 characters in the whole play, and he tells them that Godot didn't come today, but he will come tomorrow. And then the act 2 is tomorrow. And at the end of it, yeah. Well, I'm not going to give away the play, but you know, the whole time they're waiting for Godot, they don't have any idea who he is.
You don't know who he is. And is it something religious they're waiting for, or they're waiting to hit the numbers, or the lotto, or something, or?
Well, that's up for
Good luck.
speculation. I mean,
Yeah.
there's religious qualities to it. There's comedy. There's religious qualities to it. There's, you know, the pathos of life is involved in the play. So, we're going to crank it up and get it ready, and it's going to be playing up in Norristown here in November. All the
That's gonna-
weekends in November. Mhm.
It's going to be playing November 2nd.
Correct.
And every weekend, and to the 25th.
Yeah, all the way
November.
through the end of Thanksgiving
Right.
weekend. That would be.
And
So.
there's a Sunday matinee at 2:00.
Yes, sir.
And I think the other shows start what time?
8 o'clock.
8:00. Okay.
Fridays and Saturday
at the
evenings.
show. And okay, now you say this is your first show? No,
No.
you were in some other show. What was that?
Yeah, I'm a
big,
veteran.
a big hit.
Well, I was in all their shows they did last season, but their big hit was High School Musical.
High School Musical, yeah. That's the one that they directed out of the Cultural Center.
Yeah.
Right. And I interviewed the cast, a couple of them, the cast.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to be there. And one day, I called the last couple of days. They were sold out.
Yeah.
So it's the only show I missed. But I'll tell you, I'm going to have tickets up front. As soon as I leave, I'll say, John, I want a couple of
Very good.
and my friends and all. Okay. So how about your mom and pop? What do they think about you being an actor?
At first, they were like, well, do you want to look at other careers, other things, something more secure, you know? But as I've been in plays, they support me 100%.
They proud of you?
Yeah. And they've actually said
They
they have
come
to plays, and that
sit-
means
sit
a lot.
ringside?
Yeah. Oh, they've seen every show, yeah. Yeah. Multiple times. So it's good that I have that support and
Sure,
that, you know.
that's 100%.
Yeah, you need it.
But that's good. Well, you're a good-looking guy, so you had no problem there. Who knows? Maybe
Thanks.
Rudolph Valentino or something. Who knows, right?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Playing.
How about you? Tell me something about you now.
Well-
You went to school. I
Yeah.
know you went to Villanova. You went with,
Right. I went to Villanova, and started to pursue. I thought I was going to become a teacher, and then of English. I've got a background in education, English like that. So, but over a card game down there at the Hedgerow Theater in Media, I ended up meeting a puppeteer, and,
Oh, okay.
and he said, "Would you be interested in playing my Santa Claus?" I play all the breakfast with Santas for all the Strawbridge and
Oh,
Clothier
okay.
stores at the time. So I ended up doing that with him for 12 seasons. Every year, I would go back and we'd take the month of November to the end of December, and we would put that show up. And he finally said, "You're good with kids, and you got an knack for
Good,
puppets."
good,
And he
good.
gave me his old stage, his old set of puppets, and off
you know
we
what
went.
we're going to do? I'm going to get a clip. Let's watch a clip. Something about the show. Maybe you.
All right.
I don't know if you're, but come on. Let's roll a clip and see what we can do. Tell about and then rehearsals. You rehearse. too,
Yeah,
right?
we're rehearsing right now, and the clip that you're going to see right now happens to be a scene that Adam Altman and myself are in as Astragon and Vladimir, and we call this the carrot scene.
Okay. Let's roll it. Shake, rattle, and roll. Is that it?
Nothing but turnips. Wait! I have it. There you are, dear fellow. Make it last. That's the end of them.
I asked you a question. Did you reply?
How's the carrot?
It's a carrot.
So much the better. So much the better. What is it you wanted to know?
I've forgotten. That's what annoys me. I'll never forget this carrot. Oh, yes! Now I remember.
Well,
We're not tied.
I don't understand a word you say.
I'm asking you if we're tied.
Tied?
Tied!
What do you mean tied?
Down!
But to whom? By whom?
To your man.
To Godot. Tied to Godot. What an idea. No question of it at the moment.
His name is Godot?
I think so.
Oh, fancy that. Funny. The more you eat, the worse it gets.
With me, it's just the opposite.
In other words,
I get used to the muck as I go along.
is that the opposite
Question of temperament.
of character?
Nothing you can do about it.
No use struggling.
One is what one is.
No use wriggling.
The essential doesn't change.
Like to finish it?
Okay, now you got a little glimpse of it, okay? Got a little preview of it now. Now tell me a little bit about how you rehearse for a show like this. What's the scoop on it?
Well, it's a unique show, so it was a really unique rehearsal process. We actually started out mostly with improv games. We were our characters, sort of. We didn't really know who our characters were yet, because there's very little actually given about each person's past. So we didn't really know who our characters were, and we had to discover that. So we started out with very random, unique improv games where everybody had a different motive, and something in our director, John, came to us and would whisper something in our ear. So we all had a different idea of what we had to get in the game, or what we were going for, what our drive was.
Right.
And then we just let things play out, but it was amazing through the rehearsals how by the end we all sort of had this idea of where we had to go with our character exactly. Like it just always panned out. And we didn't even touch the script. We didn't even read it.
You wake up in the middle of the night thinking,
Yeah.
You heard-
Yeah, my character's insane, and yeah, the lines just ramble in my head.
I'm a former professional boxer. I remember before the fight, I'm thinking, how am I going to do? Am I going to keep the jab? I'm going to move, I'm going to hold, I'm going to grab,
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, who else is in this show? Name some of the other people there. How many people about in the show?
Well, we've got 5. There's a cast of 5 in it. Okay, so myself, I play a character named Vladimir. And then my partner is Adam Altman, and he plays Estragon. And then David's got a duo.
I play Lucky,
What's your Lucky?
and Chuck Beischel plays Pazzo. He's my master.
What kind of uniform, clothing? Who makes all that stuff?
For the costumes,
Your costumes?
well, a fellow by the name of Randy Wise is doing most of
Wise,
the
oh,
costuming.
yeah, I know him, yeah.
Okay, so I'm
Sharp
right.
guy.
So we kind of look like we've been living in our clothes for a very long
okay.
period of time. So when you see our characters, you're going to realize that there must be one heck of a history, and where are these guys coming from? Where have they been? And
Yeah.
what are they doing here? So that's part of the mystery of the play in itself. So the costumes sort of speak and address
There's
that.
a lot to that. The costumes, and also the lighting.
Yes.
Right. The where you stand, you're facing, and there's no microphones in that.
No,
No.
it's all
Yeah,
live.
everything
It's all
is
live theater.
right
It's
there.
very intimate. And in terms of this one at the Center Theater, Iron Age Productions, what we've done on this one is we've changed the entire theater space. So if you've come to see shows there in the past, when you enter this space, it's going to look extremely different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and extremely unique and extremely exciting.
That's what's
Yeah.
special about this show, the uniqueness of what you just said.
Yes, well, it's a classic play for one. It's been done, and it's been interpreted probably all over the world. And to me, it's as important as any Shakespeare play. It has that kind of grounding and that kind of flexibility and that kind of girth to it. There's a lot to it, and depending on how your director and cast want to take that play, you can really say a lot of things about the human condition in it.
Well, to get tickets, okay, so you call 610-279-1013. Call that number, make reservations. Don't be like don't do what I did last time. I waited the last couple of days, and Fran Fran Doyle,
Correct.
right? That's John's mother. She says, I'm sorry, Cisco, we're out, we're sold out. I just can't even stand up. No, there's no more like the Eagles. You got standing
Right.
room only, no standing room, And let me tell you, one thing about the cultural theater, everybody get a ringside seat.
Yes.
Everybody got a good seat, and it's just great. So when you say this is a special show, special, unique as because of the story, does it have anything to do with today, or does it have a meaning, not a meaning, but like a story behind it that would deal with today's doings or something like that, like waiting. What do you think?
Well, like Dave said, it's open for interpretation. This play is timeless. Like they'll be doing this 100 years from now, and they'll have a completely new outlook on it. And the thing about it, it's hard to explain without seeing the play. Everybody has their own take on it. So when you see it, you have your own ideas of how it relates to you and the human condition and your life. And every rehearsal, my mind still gets blown. Like they're talking, they'll be doing their lines, and I'll think of something I never thought of before. It's just poetic and beautiful, and yeah, it's timeless. It will never go away.
Any singing?
There's a little bit of
A
singing.
little bit of singing.
Yes.
I like a little bit of singing.
All right. Well, there you go.
The old story, do you know why bees hum? No, because they don't know the words. So if we're going to sing, we're going to sing a little bit. Tell me something about yourself now. You have any brothers, sisters?
I'm the youngest of four.
Youngest of four. Four brothers, sisters, or what?
have 2 older brothers, 1 older sister.
Oh, yeah? How about, did they do any acting or anything?
They've tried and they've wanted to, but no.
They don't.
They all gave up. They let me take
That's
it.
all right. Well, they're going to sit in the audience,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
How about you? Tell me something about you. Background
I'm
there.
a family man. I've been married a little over 20 years. I got a boy who's just off to as a freshman up at Temple University, and my daughter is a senior at Strathaven High School.
Where?
Strathaven High School down outside of Media in
Oh,
Nether
okay.
Providence. So that's where, so I'm coming up and down the Blue Route for rehearsals and things.
What kind of occupation or career are they going into?
I don't
Do
know.
what Papa does?
I don't think so. I don't think so. My daughter's interested in education and early child development, and my son, he's a writer and a reader. For leisure, he'll head off to a bookstore and buy a classic
What
novel
grade
or
is-
something.
What, he's at college?
He's at college. He's a freshman up at Temple University as an English major. So we'll see.
I had Don Giordano as a talk show host, and I said, what's a good message for high school kids? He says, learn how to talk and learn how to write. you know,
Yes.
And then you'll go into whatever field.
Yeah.
And I think that's, so now the shows, we have a Sunday matinees, right?
Correct, at
2
2
o'clock.
o'clock. Mhm.
And then also, your regular weekend.
Right. The Friday night is at 8 o'clock, and the Saturday night is 8 o'clock. And like you said,
Okay.
The
All right,
return
why don't we look
Sunday.
at another clip, okay? We're going to look at another clip and get another, what they say, a knot hole to see something about the show, okay? Let's roll it, baby. Pow.
Bags! Why? Always hold. Never put down. Why? Why doesn't he put down his bags?
Why couldn't you say so before? Why he doesn't make himself comfortable. Now let's get this clear. Has he not the right to? Well, certainly he has. It follows that he doesn't want to. Now there's reasoning for you. And why doesn't he want to?
Make a note of this.
Gentlemen, the reason is this. He wants to impress me so that I'll give up the idea of parting with him.
What?
Perhaps I haven't got it quite right. He wants to mollify me so that I'll be tempted to keep him on as my carrier. No, that's not it exactly either.
You want to get rid of him?
He imagines that when I see how well he carries, I'll be tempted to keep him on in that capacity.
You've had enough of him?
In reality, he carries like a pig.
You want to get rid of him?
He imagines that when I see him indefatigable, I'll regret my decision. Such is his miserable scheme, as though I were short of slaves. Atlas, son of Jupiter! Well, that's that, I think. Anything else?
You want to get rid of him?
Remark that I, my judge, wield it otherwise. To each one his due. You want to get rid of him? I beg your pardon.
You want to get rid of him?
I do. But instead of driving him away as I might have done, I mean instead of simply kicking him out on his arse, in the kindness of my heart, I am taking him to the fair, where I hope to get a good price for him. The truth is, you can't drive such creatures away. The best thing to do would be to kill them.
He's crying.
Old dogs have more dignity. Comfort him, since you pity him. Come on, wipe away his tears. He'll feel less forsaken.
Okay, good. Now we got a pretty good idea what this show's about. Now, let's this is a family affair. The more I interview and get talking about families and everything, who designed this and what this is all about? Tell me something about this sign. Who did this?
Well, sure. My son is also named David. Back in high school last year, he decided just on a whim to read the play Waiting for Godot. And he went into his art class, and then he got a little portfolio there, and he just happened to draw this sketch and attach some stuff to it. So I told him I was cast in it. So he came down. I didn't even know about this. He says, "Here, Dad, take a look at this." And I said, "Boy, that is really nice." I says, "Let me show it to John Doyle, see if he'd be interested in this. This is amazing." So I brought the picture up to John. He goes, "That's just going to be right for our poster. I'd love to use it." And so here it is.
Right.
He took
That's
this thing
great.
and
That's
turned
great.
it into a poster, and it really kind of
Your
captures what
son
it's
did
about.
that, right?
Mhm, my son did that.
How old was he when he did this?
He would have been 17.
17.
It would have been 17. It was his
See,
senior
that's-
year in high school.
Boy, that's what's good about this theater. It's down-to-earth people, good stuff, 100%. Now, you got a little part there about a big speech. Tell me something about that, make it the bigger the speech.
Well,
Tell me about the bigger the speech.
I talk very little in the play.
What do you do? Do you sign language?
I'm a slave. I'm not supposed to talk. I have,
No-
to,
oh,
I have to
okay.
carry all the belongings and burdens of
Oh, okay.
Patso, my master. But there is a time when I'm granted the opportunity to speak.
get up and speak.
They give me a hat and he tells me to think. That's what the command is, to think. And I pretty much just ramble on for 4 pages straight
No
without a
kidding.
period, and it's very repetitive. It's very
period, just
confusing.
pa-pa-pa-pa?
It's absurd. It makes sense, but then it doesn't make sense, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to memorize. You were asking me before about memorizing. I tried so hard. Usually, we'd only have to read a speech over a bunch of times. This thing, I had to make sense in my head where it didn't make sense. I just had to keep in my. I was sleeping. I'd wake up and be saying the things in my head. Definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to memorize.
Well, what your speech is it something real, or you just made it up, or just a bunch of words?
It's really just a bunch of words, but
Okay, I'll take that part.
But there's
I'll take
No,
that
actually, he's being kind of, it's not just a bunch of words. What he's got to memorize and play, not just remember, but he plays this in a physical fashion. He's up and down and all over this stage with a rope, with burden, with his tattered rags on it, and it's just almost like a whirling dervish. But if you look at the script, for 4 pages, there's no punctuation.
No kidding.
There is absolutely no punctuation. It starts with
I
a
gotta see
capital,
that.
and
I
it
gotta
ends
see
with a
that.
period 4
I'm
pages
going to
later.
go aside so I don't make you nervous.
Right. Well, he had to take that speech and break it down along with his director and figure out, where they're going to go, how to physically move this thing through the space. And it's something worth seeing. So, my advice is get your ticket early.
Oh, yeah.
And be
I'm
prepared for
telling
this
you.
speech, because when it
I'm getting
happens,
my
you'll
ticket.
never
I'm-
see anything like it.
All right, how about this working with Adam? What's that all about?
Well,
Stupid-
he's my partner. I spend most of my time with him. He and I are there to wait. And he's a gem to work with. He's much, much younger than I am. He's in play after play after play. I had the opportunity to work with him also for an Iron Age theater play. We did Fathers and Sons sometime last March it was. And so that was my first opportunity to see him work. And he just has a photographic memory. He works with ease. He's a very generous and caring actor. And I
Who's
couldn't
that?
ask for a better partner to work with.
Adam?
Adam.
Yeah.
Adam Altman, yeah.
And what's this here body show? What's that? Something to do with? That's about atoms, right?
Right.
Right.
So he and I are, we're partners in this, and we're all encumbered by our clothing and our hats. We all wear hats for the show. So and then we get to play, our humorous games to the thing, and our pathos, our sad moments together. Everything we get to do and live together on that space.
About that. But I can't wait to hear this here. How many words together is that about?
I don't know the amount of words. I just know it's a lot of
But
them.
no punctuations.
None.
No.
None.
You know,
None at all.
I'll take that part. You know, I do a lot. When I was a policeman, I was a policeman in Norristown, and sometimes you get a guy who had too many drinks, you know, and they don't listen. Come on, let's go, you know, and they don't listen. But sometimes when they don't understand what you're saying, they'll obey. You know?
Right.
So I would give them double talk. I said, get them up by the plane for turning looking for a car. The guy was carrying you. They don't turn the rest of the lights. The guy says, what? Yeah, okay. And he listens to you, you know.
He gets
So
your-
the same thing here.
Very
so you're
good.
gonna
I'm
be
gonna use
talking,
that
You're
in
going to
my
be talking
speech.
about the show, and I'm going to, oh, what's he talking about? Right, okay. So, hey, a half hour is almost over. So we're going to do, it's been a pleasure. Shake hands. I'm
Thank you,
going to
Hank.
see you
Great to meet you.
at the show, and it starts on the 2nd.
2nd of
right?
November.
And every weekend.
Every weekend, all the
till
way through
25th,
Thanksgiving
okay?
weekend.
And you got a 2 o'clock matinee. You got the Friday,
Friday
Saturday,
evening, Saturday evening, Sunday
8 o'clock.
matinee.
And it's the Cultural Theater on
Iron Age
DeKalb
Theater.
Street between Main and Lafayette Street. Everybody gets a ringside seat. Hey, come on, let's go see the show. Norristown's a place for a show. In fact, we're talking about getting a theater. We're going to be building a beautiful theater in Norristown. So you better hook on and get on the mailing list. So you don't say, whoa, I didn't hear from you. I'm telling you now, okay? Get your ticket and get on the mailing list. And so, ala Zulu, here, shake, come on. This is water, okay? And there, to your health. Ala Zulu, everybody.